have been rolling through, playing incredible all weekend long. They're ready to do it one more time to make the finals. This first player originally went to UCLA, then switched over to USC, which is sort of unheard of. To get her law degree, but we love her all the same. The Bruin and the Trojan, a rare combo, and she is a rare young lady, everybody. Let me hear it for the beautiful, the wonderful Miss Lauren Fendrick. Oh, she's making you work for it. Yes. She's like, let me catch that, come on. And here we go. Her partner, ladies and gentlemen, out of Costa Mesa, California, the Trojan from the University of Southern California, one of the best players in the entire world, is ready to put on a show for you. The two-time Olympic medalist, April Ross. She's like, nope, wait for it, let me get the hug in. And I think she's gonna hand it off. Or nope, she just has somebody dialed in. Got it, oh, off the rail, great catch, young lady. That's you. And their opponents, the #1 seeds in the tournament, had to come up through the contenders bracket in the quarterfinal match to make it here, but they are here all the same. First player out of Fowler, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, such a fun player to watch, such a fun player to talk to off the court. And don't worry, Brittany, I took my UCLA shirt off just for you. Let me hear it for Brittany Hochevar. And her partner, oh my goodness, an absolute sweetheart. And she has got an incredible cheering section, a bunch of them coming from California, a bunch of them are local, making their presence known, and she is gonna make her presence known on the court. Let me hear it for Emily Day. Emily Brittany, Lauren April.
Hello, everybody. I'm Triborn here with Rich Lamborn. We're here in New York City at the New York City Open, the first event of the Gold Series, and we got an unbelievable second semifinal match coming up here. Winner goes to the finals of our first Gold Series event. I'm excited. Are you, Rich?
I'm fired up. Thanks for having me again,
yes,
as
sir.
always.
Rich Lamborn, a
we got
gold
some
medalist.
Big ballers. Big ballers out here. No one less than 6 feet on court right now.
Good rally to start. Brittany Hochevar puts it away in transition.
M. Day imposing at the net early here.
Right.
It's the new team of April Ross, Lauren Fendrick still kind of trying to find their footing, I think, together.
But, oh wow, Brittany Hochevar with the hubby wife, as we like to call it. Right up the middle, a little communication error. Yeah, like you said, it's a new partnership with Lauren and April, but who better to play with a new partner than April Ross? She's won tournaments with, I want to say, 4 or 5 different partners. We can get that stat for you eventually, but so far they're off to a good start.
It's a great dig by Brittany there. We're going to see, in our first match, we saw Summer Ross go on 2 a ton.
Right.
I think that's a big part of Lauren and April's game as well. Apparently, if your last name is Ross, you like to feast from the left side on 2.
That's a great observation there. April wiping her glasses.
Veteran move.
Veteran move. Looks like she's off to a slow start, so she's trying to stop that momentum. Or her glasses had sand and sweat on them. Oh, that was close. I want to say that was in. If I was Emily and Brittany, I would have the ref check that, but they're not going to. That looked in to me from up here. What do you think, Rich?
It looked like it might have caught a little rope, and then maybe in a Freudian slip, the up ref sort of motioned towards Emily and Brittany's side, but in any event, it's a side out to Lauren and April.
Another clean shot. Looks like Brittany's bringing the energy early, which she always does. We love watching Brittany play because she's always got that fire, but she's really aggressive right now and really clean shots.
One of the best team vibes, just in general, here or anywhere else in the world, Emily and Brittany.
Absolutely.
hashtag MB champs. They won the Manhattan Beach Open, and it fits seamlessly with the initials of their first names.
Wow, only you would recognize that, Rich.
I'm a big social media guy.
Emily Day with the hammer cross court. You ever seen Emily Day hit a hard cross court angle?
That is absolutely her go-to shot, and probably nobody does it better.
Yeah, if you give it to her, she'll take it every time. She obviously is in great shape, a great athlete, so she can hammer the ball. And speaking of hammering the ball, a nice deep swing from April Ross. Arguably the best player in the world.
I would agree with you there. There's probably a handful that are really close, but she's certainly in the top 3, if not the best player in the world right now. Which puts a lot of pressure, ironically, on her partner, I would think, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you'd think being an Olympian, the pressure wouldn't be on you, but Lauren Fendrick coming off the Rio Olympics with Brooke Sweat, she's got a little something to prove when stepping up and playing with someone like April Ross, who has 2 Olympic medals, a silver and a bronze.
And 2 back-to-back absolute crushes from the left side.
She's matching that energy that Brittany Hochevar's bringing and that angle crush that Emily Day had earlier. And they're just going back and forth, blow for blow here. Nice dig by April on 2 attempt. She's there on the line shot. No block, good luck.
You would call that pull a little bit early.
Definitely early. You don't want the hitter to be approaching and knowing that you've already dropped. You know, you're going to come in so hard, ready to just unload on that ball. And I don't know if she thought that Lauren maybe wasn't going to deliver a good set, but I think she definitely pulled too early on that.
Especially someone with the offensive prowess of an April Ross.
Yeah, she doesn't even need a perfect set to unload on it. So a little error there, in my opinion. There's that heat angle, but April Ross handles it. Hochevar in transition, feasting again. Hochevar's feeling it.
Great energy in this match early on.
Fans are getting into it too, aren't they?
Both teams are hammering right now.
I love it.
Like we talked about, no one shorter than 6 foot. I think Brittany's the shortest one on the court right now at 6 foot, which even in the women's game is pretty tall.
Says a lot about how physical these girls are these days.
And Brittany the defender at 6 foot.
Another drop, but there it is. That's the timing she wanted on that first one. Lauren couldn't see it, and another angle hit. Emily Day's bread and butter.
M. Day from that left side, almost a Patterson-esque wrist where she can take it almost over her left shoulder and just wrap it around her head with a slicey cross court.
That's Casey Patterson on the men's side, of course, who has one of the loosest wrists in the game. He can kind of face one way and hit it the other. April staying aggressive on 2, and it works.
The key to going on 2 is no hesitation. You agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, the set is coming from a pass, so the window to hit it is much smaller, and if you let the ball get too far, it's going to get too tight to the net. So you really have to cut it off, and you have no time to hesitate. Set's a little too tight, but that aggression from Hochevar is just dominating every time she gets a set. And that's against one of the best, biggest, most physical blocks in the world in Lauren Fendrick. I really like the energy Brittany Hochevar's bringing here early, and it shows in the score. 8-5 with Emily Day back to serve.
Brittany, always a fiery competitor. I love the kind of dynamics of beach volleyball, and that a lot of times you get former partners facing off against each other. Lauren and Brittany played quite a few tournaments with one another.
Right.
So there's always a little bit of that extra chip on everyone's shoulder.
Of course. I mean, there's a somewhat small pool of elite, very world-class top players in each country, and obviously you have to stick with players that are from your country. So that pool is pretty small, and a lot of times you get teams that are switching up kind of back and forth, and a lot of players that have played with each other, playing against each other, and switching. And But yeah,
Much
I
like
mean,
the South Bay in California can tend to be incestuous a bit in the beach
exactly.
volleyball community.
Good point, good point. It is a small community of when you're talking about the elite individuals. Good communication there. Lauren Fendrick letting her partner know that it's out. April Ross is staring up at that ball, so it's always nice to have a partner who's loud at communicating. So that really is the key to not hesitating, right? You don't have to think. When your partner tells you, they're screaming at you, you know that they know what they're talking about. It just makes it that much easier.
Like we talked about in the first match, Emily and Brittany right now touching just about everything that Lauren and April have to offer.
What a dig. Perfect set. Oh, a little tight. Whoa, Brittany. That one got away from her, but she's not loving that, but I'm sure she'll be right back.
You hate to see those mistakes in transition, but from a coaching standpoint, I like that she was aggressive the entire time.
Right.
You make mistakes, but the lack of hesitation really, to me, is more important than the mistake itself.
Right. If I'm her partner out there, I'm telling her, I do not care. You keep doing what you've been doing this whole match because it's been working. Errors are going to happen. You just completely forget about it, have a short-term memory, and move on. And that's what they're doing.
I would have liked to see April and Lauren press that advantage just a little bit there rather than kind of missing that serve, and we see what happens. They don't capitalize on the momentum, and Emily comes up with the ace, jump serve down the line. Nicely done by her. Maybe a foot fault. Some people in the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd's
think it
yelling
might have
foot
been.
fault, but lines judge didn't call it.
It's always interesting on the beach. Did my foot go underneath the line? Did I push sand onto the line, or did I actually hit the line, which is illegal?
Good aggressive swing from April Ross. Blocks a little late, getting to that line and sealing it off, so M. Day got tooled there.
I think this is the other team, in this case, Emily and Brittany, to make a play. Right, you have to be so precise with that block in order to stuff it back in the court.
Another nice clean shot from Brittany Hochevar to go into the timeout. That's huge. How big is it to go into a timeout having won that last point?
I think it's huge, especially when Brittany and Emily are going to be switching to what's been. We're seeing Brittany and Emily going to what's been the worst of the two sides.
Well, I love what we saw in that first set, 12.
Because you're not just a single category or function. You're more than brain, energy, bones, heart, mood, healthy skin, hair, and nails. And so are we. Meet Smarty Pants, preferred by smart mouths.
And we're back here at Hudson River Park, Pier 26 in New York City with this beautiful skyline. We got a great semifinal matchup coming up here, or in the midst of about halfway through the first set. And it's been a battle so far, but the 1 seed has the lead against the 2 Olympians on the other side, April Ross and Lauren Fendrick.
We've seen 3 sets of volleyball this morning. All 3 have been a 12-9 advantage at the technical timeout.
That's a great observation, Rich. Something that I would not have noticed.
When you're a coach, you sit around a lot and think about numbers.
Rich Lamborn here, a coach of Casey Patterson and Theo Brunner, of course, on the men's side. Lucky to have him joining us here and giving us his input. Best server in the world, back to serve.
Right.
Great hammer on 2.
That's not an easy play, but again, the key to it was Emily's lack of indecisiveness. The second that came off Brittany's arms, she saw the pass, decided she was going to crush that down on 2, and did so. Nicely done by her.
And what else she did is she got April Ross off the service line really quickly, which is huge. Oh, what a block. Great angle read, but Summer Ross is there with the, or April Ross, sorry, is there with the cover. And here we're in transition. April's gonna get a chance to put it away. And she sails it outside. Looked like not the set she wanted there in transition, but not able to come up with the play. She's going for a little wipe of her glasses, maybe catch a breath there after a long rally.
How difficult is that as a player, especially in transition, when you're expecting a set that's going to track sort of towards the net and you get one that comes off a little bit and you end up underneath the ball?
Right, that's actually something I've learned the hard way. There's one play that stands out in my mind. It's the World Championships. For me, 2 years ago. And it was just a huge play where in transition I had a nice pass, and when you have that nice pass, you expect a perfect set out of it. But what I did wrong was I committed to that perfect set. Even though I don't need a perfect set, because I have a good approach, but I committed to that perfect set too early. The set was a little off, so I was off balance because I wasn't ready for any set that came at me. Looks like that's kind of what happened with April right there. No matter how good the pass is, you got to be ready for anything your partner gives you. April hoping she got a net there, but she hit it out, and
I think that ball went off the top of the tape there and just went wide for Ross and Fendrick. There again, though, we saw that Lauren with a nice short serve, and because of the excessive spin on that pass, Brittany kind of pulled that set off a little bit, led to a defensive opportunity for Lauren and April, ultimately unable to capitalize, though.
Brittany back to serve, middle to middle with the float serve to Lauren Fendrick. Brittany's there. She's all over the place today. With the hammer angle. Brittany Hochevar setting the pace out there, and I think she's been the difference so far in this match.
This is her sort of adopted hometown. She's looking to succeed here. She's got her other hashtag, just be a not again. She loves her first initial, but it's also for Brooklyn, where she has a home. And so she would love to get to the finals here and win the first leg of the Gold Series.
Absolutely, and did you know that her partner, Emily Day, actually won this tournament in 2015, the first time the AVP came back to New York?
I did know that, and I'll tell you why, because who was their coach at that time?
You were their coach, that's right. I actually did forget that. She won that with Jen Kessie, and you were coaching them that year. I don't know how I forgot that, because I was on the tour with you all year that year.
Yeah. That was an excellent tournament by Jen Kessie and Emily Day. And fun little side fact, they went right from that final, sweaty and sandy, hopped in a car about 100 yards down the pier here, and we went right to the airport and to Tokyo, Japan. Oh. The glamorous life of a beach volleyball player.
Of course, and if my memory serves me correct, that was about 110 degrees out there that year.
It was warm here. It was warmer and muggier in Japan.
Here we go, Brittany Hochevar back to serve.
Oh, just wide. Yeah, M. Day looking to be a repeat champion here in New York. The team of Day Hochevar looking to be repeat champions on tour this season, as they won the first event of the year in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, true. And back to serve, we have the 2016 champion of this event. So both, one player on each side, have won this event before in 2015 and 2016. April, of course, won with Carrie Walsh last year.
As we heard Mark Sherman announce to the crowd, the dreaded trickler. It's kind of the least sexy of the volleyball plays that we have out here on the beach.
Right. April Ross leading the tour in aces, as she does pretty much every year. She is that good of a server. Oh, what a play. Looks like April wanted that one. She made the right read, just couldn't get her whole hand on it. And Lauren's almost able to play it out of the net.
I really liked that balance by April. It looked like she was almost leaning to run down the line shot, but was able to change direction and get that touch on the cut shot. Sadly to no avail for her team, still trailing by 4.
Middle to middle serve, April Ross forced to go back, and she hits it out. From up here, that ball looks out to us. You guys can tell us what you think. The ref's coming down to take a look because April asked them to, but
pretty clear ball mark out.
Mark's pretty far out.
The up ref, I think, in this situation typically discusses with his line judge if there was any line movement.
Right.
Because sometimes the ball mark clearly out there, but sometimes on its way by, it'll clip a little bit of the rope, in which case it's in. However, we're going to see a 5-point advantage.
Let's take a look at this. See if we can get our own shot here. The mark's definitely out. It's whether, like Rich said, it tagged it on the way out. Sometimes the line's lifted a little bit because there's these holes in the sand, but I think that was the right call by the refs.
AVP officiating crew always on their game, and nobody had a better view of that than the line judge there. You could see it was just 3 or 4 feet in front of his face. So
Emily gives it right back to him after that, getting a little timeout. Sailed one over to M's entourage, which is her family and friends that follow her around on tour. See them in the blue shirts down there. Emily with a big swing to put this match out, set out of reach. She can't put it away. April with the chance in transition. These girls are scrapping right now. What a rally we got. April finishes it on 2, of course. Brittany not too stoked about it.
there again, no hesitation on 2 from April Ross, and she just obliterates that. Brittany in a good spot, but the hit a little too strong by April.
It's so hard to be ready on 2 late in rallies when it's so hot out, and you know you're dying to catch your breath, and you're trained obviously to do it. These girls are trained to do it, but to be ready late in a rally on 2 just shows how much that you have that extra little effort to be one of the elite players out here, rather than just settling for setting your partner, you know.
Not to make too big of a deal of this, but we saw Em kind of kill her own rally like we talked about, kill their own run with that service mistake, and now we've seen 2 real points from Fendrick and Ross, and they've closed the gap to with just 2 points here late in set 1, forcing the timeout from Day Hochevar.
Oh, there's a little kayak action going on. I mean, everyone's out here enjoying this event, and I think maybe these kayakers can pick up a few of these river balls. These girls are bouncing into the river. It's just a perfect day here, so definitely recommend anyone in the New York area to come down and check us out at the Hudson River Park, Pier 26. We're all in stadium today. Yesterday we had some matches going on the side courts, but everything's on the stadium today. We're in the semifinals, and it's all high-quality volleyball. This is America. This is America's tour, and I'm pumped up here on Sunday, early in the semifinals.
I'm not a New Yorker, but I'm pretty sure this is uncharacteristically gorgeous weather we're having here for this tournament.
I am the opposite of a New Yorker. Literally, I'm from Hawaii, and I'm just blown away with this venue here. It's pretty amazing. Emily coming out fired up, exactly what her team needed out of that timeout. And they're looking to close out this first set, which would be huge to take the first one off of these Olympians who are known as being one of the best teams in the world.
We saw that great shot of the flag, kind of flapping in the breeze a little bit. We had basically no wind for the second half of that first match, but it looks like it's picking up here a little bit. And April and Lauren are now on what we would consider the good side. April, like you said, probably the best server in the world going back to serve.
On the good
down
side.
by 2, on the good side. Let's see if she can make something happen.
This is a huge serve receive for Hochevar and Day. You've got to get April off the line. She goes with the float though. Emily putting it away, that is clutch. She had that opportunity. She knew she had to put it away. April wishes she had that dig back, but I can't tell you how important it is to get a server like April Ross off the line late in the match on the good side. That's a huge transition play right there.
She does want that one back. She kind of schemed and read it perfectly, just unable to control that first contact.
Emily going with the jump serve. April on 2 again, taking advantage of Emily not being able to get to the net. That's one of the hardest things is when a team is hitting on 2, you're jump serving, so you're doing a full max jump hit. You got to get to the net before the other team can hit it on 2, and sometimes you just can't get there in time. You gotta put your hands in a certain spot and just hope you get some kind of touch. Emily with the push set, switching up her offense a little, and it works perfectly. She was really able to get away from the block of Lauren Fendrick there. I think that was perfect timing and a perfect choice.
Tactically, what do you think of set 1 there?
I thought Hochevar and Day did a really good job of kind of switching up their tempos, but most importantly, coming in hard offensively. Like we were talking about early, Brittany set that tempo with being really aggressive. She wasn't crushing balls.
Yes, that emoji. I'm here with my new best friend, Jake from Minnesota. Jake from Minnesota. Welcome, Jake, to New York City, everybody. Jake, thanks for coming out. You've got a chance to win 2 Club AVP passes, courtesy of Smarty Pants Vitamins, and all you got to do, Jake, is guess some emojis. We're going to throw emojis on the board. They represent a movie, maybe a song, a TV show, and all you got to do is guess 5, and you're going to take home AVP passes. You ready?
So ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can help him out as well. Let's turn our attention to the jumbo, Jake. And here we go. There's number 1.
Candy, hammer time. Candy, hammer day.
Listen to the audience.
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, that's 1. Here we go.
Chicken dance. Chicken dance.
Chicken Dance, yeah.
Okay. Family Man. Family Guy.
Family Guy, there we go. That's 3. Here we go. 2 more.
I see fish. Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo or I See Fish. 1 more, come on.
Game Cake. Video Crown. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yes! I don't care if the time ran out. You're a winner, Jake. You're a winner in my eyes. Give it up for Jake and all of you for your help. Thank you so much. You're taking home 2 Club AVP passes courtesy of Smarty Pants. Yes, Jake, the winner. He's the man. He's my winner. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out Smarty Pants. All the nutrients you need in one delicious gummy. Check them out after this match. But first, we've got set number 2 coming your way. Day and Brittany Hochevar looking to close it out. Lauren and April for the comeback. It'll be April Ross at the line to start us off. Here we go.
We're back here in New York City, starting off the 2nd set. Emily Day with the push set to start. April's there with a huge dig. Oh, close.
So give me a quick recap of set 1. What did we think tactically from both squads?
I thought that Brittany Hochevar and Day kind of just set the energy, and Lauren and April were had a little less energy and a few errors. I think it was a few sets off the net where April hit it out long. But honestly, I think it was more Day and Brittany Hochevar just making plays. But it's really hard to keep that going. And let's see if they can do that. They're already down to a 2-0 start in the 2nd. Nice cut shot.
I'm curious to see if this continues. Obviously, Lauren and April scored the first 2 out of the gate, but Emily seemed to be in a great rhythm in set 1 offensively, yet they kept the ball on her exclusively. And
right.
She just sided out and sided out and sided out and really kind of got her legs under her nicely. I'm curious to see if that continues, if Emily continues to stay in the same rhythm here. How important is it along those lines to be able to pivot on the fly? You go into a match certainly with a game plan,
Right.
but if that's not working, how quickly and how capable are you of altering that?
Oh, I mean, that's huge. That's beach volleyball in a nutshell. I mean, the other team's job is to really figure out as early as possible and quickly as possible what your strategy is for this particular match. As Lauren Fendrick with a huge block. But I mean, that's your job, is to figure out what adjustments they're making early on and then make your adjustments back. And so far, it looks like Lauren and April have made the adjustments early, and it's it's already working. They're imposing their will early at the net on Emily Day, but she answers, as most of these elite women do.
And very hard to string together points against the top teams in the world.
You know what's surprising me? I'm looking at the stat sheet here, and I'm looking at blocks for this season. Emily Day and Lauren Fendrick, actually, you know, they have a pretty good average. Lauren Fendrick actually has the most blocks per set, so that's no surprise. They've actually played in less. Oh, wow, what a play. Emily Day is not necessarily known for her blocking. She actually used to play defense, I think, a little bit, or at least split. But Lauren Fendrick, obviously, she's only played 8 matches this season, which is why her number of blocks are down. She has 25 for the season, but she has the highest average per set, which is 1.39. That's pretty darn good. Emily Day's at 0.81 blocks per set, so they're doing a little more transitioning on Day and Hochevar's side.
Yeah, at 6'1", which Emily's listed at, she did make that switch from full-time defender a couple years back when she played with Summer Ross. Then she went to a little bit of a split blocking situation with her partner Jen Kessie in their Olympic run-up. And now she's a full-time blocker with Brittany.
Here we go, we got a great rally. April sends it out.
April trying for the miraculous bump kill cross court, just a little bit wide.
Sometimes you got to decide, you know, are you going to go for the kill when you're on your knees, or are you just going to keep it in play and give your defense a chance? I don't mind her being aggressive on it. Obviously, she's confident. But that one, if I'm her partner, I'd like her to keep it in play and give me a chance as a blocker to take care of it. Great play out of the net. M. Day with the big approach outside, indoor style. But
might be getting swirly down there. That's a couple sort of
the flags are definitely moving a lot more than they were this morning, and I can see a few white caps on the water. So there's definitely a change in atmosphere out here, so it's up to these women to adjust quickly.
When you see players as precise as an Emily Day, kind of miss shots by 5 or 10 feet wide, like we saw in that last line shot and the serve before it, you have to figure there are some elements coming into play.
You know, we actually have all 4 of these women are in the top 10 on tour in hitting percentage, which says a lot. And look at that offense right there, right on the back line from April Ross. April Ross is actually leading the tour in hitting percentage, which is no surprise, but absolutely crushing the next best person in hitting percentage. She's hitting over 500, and she's the only person on tour to do that right now. Brittany, her hat's off, continuing the rally. But
I wanted Brittany to kill that just for flair's sake. She passed the ball, chucked her visor, and then went into attack. I'm curious to see if that's going to be a tactical shift for Fendrick and Ross, though. They've been going exclusively after Emily, like we mentioned. Got a point off of Brittany there, though, that time. Can they keep it on her, and does that work out for them?
Brittany's using her hat falling off as a timeout, redoing the hair, the glasses. You got to feel good to play volleyball, and sometimes you got to look good to play too, right?
Out here, you certainly need to look good.
Best server in the world, back to serve, April Ross. Hochevar handles it, goes with the back set. And that ball's touched to the net, so it's got to go over. M. Day on the right side. Another good block by Lauren Fendrick. A good transition set. These girls are scrapping. Lucky play, trickler, as they get into the side switch here, and
we would call that anticlimactic, that finish to that
right.
rally, I think.
We want to see someone put it away in transition there, but I know Emily Day's not complaining.
Certainly their side not complaining. You do want to see somebody, quote unquote, earn it, though, especially after such great effort by both sides in that rally. Seems like the right side of our screen, the side we've been calling the bad side, maybe becoming the better side.
Right, the wind's been shifting all week. I've been sitting up here watching these flags, and I've seen them go in pretty much every direction. And I've also seen them just fully dead. So that's a huge part of this sport is realizing that kind of shift in conditions and using them to your advantage. I'm sure these girls are aware of it and talking about it down there on the sand.
Both teams seem to be getting after their jump serves from kind of our screen right. Brittany, what a play
clean
there.
Shot and some fire coming out of Day and Hochevar. I love it.
You feel a little bit of extra juice when you get the trickler, you make the diving save, and then you're able to side out. You feel like you dodged a bullet a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to celebrate that. I mean, that's a huge point, a huge momentum shifter. There's our flag there. You can see it moving. It was just going a lot harder than that, and now it's kind of like a medium win.
This may be the Patriot in me, but I feel like there's an extra coolness to the flying flag kind of in the shadows of the Freedom Tower.
This is crazy. Yeah, the Freedom Tower is right here. We're looking right at it. It's just an amazing backdrop. We have the NYPD boat. There's that flag.
April, of course, feasting on her serve from both sides.
Right. As expected. NYPD boat driving by so fittingly. Look at that. Look at him waving. Right on cue. What a stud. He's just going to do laps and be waving. And
when I join the NYPD, how do I get the boat gig?
Yeah, you gotta put in some time to get that job right there.
Step one, learn how to swim.
Go watch beach volleyball from the Hudson River.
Emily and Britt back to within one here. I think kind of midway through this match, midway through this second set, that's the biggest question for me is Lauren Fendrick going to be able to side out consistently and throughout the entirety of this match? I think that was a little bit of her team's shortcoming in the first set. Obviously, the great play of Brittany and Emily deserves to be praised as well. I think that's a little bit of a mistake there, getting a point off Lauren and then serving it to April Ross.
I'd have to agree, and especially late in the match. I mean, someone with so much experience and so many wins on tour. Obviously, Lauren's resume is great as well, but it's really nothing compared to, not nothing, but it's, I mean, April Ross's resume is so good. Since the start of 2014 season, Ross has actually had a 15-1 record in semifinal matches, which is just ridiculous, and not exactly the player you want to go to when her partner's struggling a little. What
just saw Laura Ludwig, Brooke Sweat-esque play there with the overhand tomahawk on two by April Ross.
April Ross has got it all. Laura Ludwig, of course, the gold medalist defender, just unbelievable athlete from Germany.
Try, you checking what the technical timeout score is here on this set?
Ooh, we got a 12-9 lead for April Ross and Lauren Fendrick.
4 for 4.
You're just on top of your math today. That's the trend today, I guess.
That's the trend today. Both of those sets were in favor of Brooke and Summer in the first set. This one we've had 1-1. Emily and Britt led the first 12-9 at the technical. Lauren and April up 12-9 in the second set at the technical timeout, looking to level this match.
Again, I'm Tri-born here, doing commentary this year because I'm out due to health injuries, but I'm usually down there on the sand. But I'm lucky enough to be joined by Rich Lamborn here, who is a coach for one of the men's team, and we're loving life up here in the box and watching one of the best matches of all weekend.
Thanks for having me, Tri.
It's a
pretty
pleasure.
fun to.
Beautiful scene here as you see the ship parked right outside. I think Rich Lamborn rode up on that ship this morning, maybe. That's how he got here. I took the subway. traditional New York style.
And cut. Yeah!
Brittany changing up her line of approach there, going with a little push set. I think that's really important. You got to keep a blocker like Lauren Fendrick moving and guessing at the net. If you bring that set to her every time, it's going to be really tough because she's so physical.
And we heard the great communication from her partner Emily as well, exhorting her to cut the ball.
Hammer. Emily Day unloading, not scared of the moment as we enter the second half of the second set. After she and her team won the first, it's now a 1-point set.
We're seeing some impressive jump serves both sides in this match.
Nice chizzy by April Ross. Looked like Em wanted that one back. I'd like to see a little more penetration there, especially when you're trying to seal those low angles off. You got to get over and press. Looks like Emily went a little high on that one. Wasn't able to seal it, but a good swing from April Ross. Going with the outside set. And a nice seam swing. Again, it looked like Lauren hesitated a little on the block. She didn't want to get tooled down the, oh, she actually delayed. Looks like she kind of got caught in no man's land, and notice Emily didn't have a huge swing, so she left it to April Ross, but ended up not being the right decision. Fendrick off the net. Hochevar's all over that shot. Oh, the right decision by her in transition, but she missed it wide. She had a lot of court there. Not happy about it, as you can see.
Yeah, that's a big one there. Instead of 13 apiece, they still trail by 2 here in the second set.
Looked like that set was pushed a little more than she had expected it to, but she's got to adjust. It was a good enough set. She just let it get to her left shoulder, which turned the ball out down the line. You want to keep that.
Tactically, I like what they were doing there, though, and what generated that point-scoring opportunity in serving Lauren Fendrick.
Here we go. We got a tight ball at the net. Emily stays aggressive, tries to go off the big block of Lauren Fendrick, but I don't think Lauren touched it. That's tough. You need those sets to be good here as we enter crunch time. So they're going to take a timeout and talk about that, but I think Brittany would like to have that set back, and of course, Emily would have liked to keep that in play.
One of the things I like to pay attention to when I'm coaching is how often do those momentum swings happen? Because we saw Brittany just barely miss that transition opportunity to level it at 13.
Right.
So her team ends up still down by 2 instead of tied, and then they give up a reel right on top of it. So it ends up being kind of a 3-point swing when they had a chance to be level. And you know, how often do those things happen? How quickly are you able to bounce back from those types of things as a team? And just like everything else in sports, it's a skill, right? Being able to kind of have a short-term memory and forget about those things and move on to the next play.
As a pro, you're playing so much volleyball. You're playing so much, I mean, pro in any sport. You're doing it all day, every day. There's gonna be errors. You have to, I mean, you just learn how to just forget about the errors. You don't remember anything really that happened yesterday, that happened a few points ago. The last point, it's always looking forward, always thinking about the next point, but at the same time staying in the moment from point to point.
Some of us have to train that. Some of us aren't born Hawaiian and just have it ingrained in us, that chill vibe.
Haha. Yeah, there's certain parts of it I had to work on, but definitely forgetting about the score and the last points is a specialty for me.
Taking inordinate amounts of time to walk short distances is another skill of yours.
Right. Rich likes to give me a lot of crap for how slow I walk. New York City is not the best city for me. It'll take me hours to get everywhere if I were to walk. But yeah, I got that slow island style walk. But
I just find it fascinating that there's like an inverse relationship between how slowly you walk and how ridiculously explosive and quick you are on a volleyball court.
I try to save it. I build up all that energy, you know?
Another nice on 2 there from April Ross. Tucked it right in the corner.
Ross
Still
back
up front
to
by
serve.
3, yeah.
16-13. There she is, so dangerous late in the set. Best server in the world, as we said. Leading server on the AVP Tour again. I'm pretty sure she's been the leading server on the AVP ever since I showed up on tour, which was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that serves such a weapon.
Going back to Brittany's line again. That's how you answer, though. And the crowd loves it.
One of the things about the jump serve, and maybe you can talk about this just a little bit, is even if I pass it perfectly to my partner, there's so much spin on it because of the pace of that serve that it becomes more difficult to set, does it not?
Exactly. That's a huge strategy a lot of the times. When you find a team that maybe isn't as good at bump setting, which you know, everyone has their weaknesses. When you know that there's one guy that's not as good at bump setting or setting that really hard-driven, hard-spinning ball, you're going to rip jump serves at their partner and make them set that really tough ball, which is spinning off the hammered jump serve. Oh, that's a huge jumbo right there. She did not have too much court. It wasn't the perfect set, which is why Lauren Fendrick dropped, but that's an amazing shot by Brittany Hochevar.
Well seen by her. She stayed behind that set nicely and saw the retreating Fendrick and just knocked her right over into the corner. Right?
One of the hardest shots to hit in the game. They make it look easy, but to get it high enough and then get it to drop in the corner is one of the hardest things. And April on 2 again, taking advantage of Emily not being able to get up to the net. You know, if that continues to happen, I don't know if maybe Emily and them talk about her staying down on her serve. Obviously, she's hitting the crap out of it. So she doesn't want to lay off her serve, but you can't be letting them have opportunities on 2 like that without getting up to the net and challenging it. There goes April Ross with that serve.
She gives her a little nod. I think it's to her mother, who passed away a number of years ago. She gives a nod to her every time she gets an ace.
Little point.
Chest pound, point to the sky. We've seen probably thousands of times at this point with the number of aces she gets.
Right. Here we go, April Ross to take the set and force it to 3. Brittany Hochevar goes back out of the middle. Lauren just owning at the net.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I like that aggression though from Brittany. She ain't mad about it. She's not scared to bust that out in the moment, and
it would have worked.
Not happy about it. Or
it would have worked.
Something.
Had that been a clean contact, it would have gone down. In any event, we're going to see a third set. We're going to see a third set here.
I'm going to have to agree with the ref there on that double contact, but I mean, why not take a chance, change momentum, bring that energy, that weirdness to the set. I mean, they were already down. Obviously, you're never trying to lose. You always think that you have a chance to come back, but late in the set, you just want to kind of switch that energy and that vibe. And I think you laugh that one off and come back, and Brittany gets her partner fired up, as she always does coming into this third set.
What are the tri-born keys to the third set here in this match?
For me, it's, well, with April Ross and Lauren Fendrick, it's just about playing their game. If they're on top of their game, it's so hard to beat a team like that, just like any top team in the world. It's more about them playing their game and not letting the other team dictate what they're doing. And I think it's just as important for these other ladies, but they need to match the energy. And they need to have so much energy, which Brittany Hochevar is great at having, so that Lauren and April can't stay in that rhythm. And they need to keep switching up their offense as they're doing. But it's hard. It's hard to switch up what you're doing on offense without making errors. It takes a lot of focus, a lot of preciseness. But I'm excited to see how they come out and do it.
Let's have a look. I'm going to focus on the play of Lauren Fendrick inside out.
I like it.
Can she roll it up to her partner to go on 2 enough? Can she side out enough? And then can Brittany and Emily get them out of system or in situations where Lauren has to attack and they can sort of capitalize on it? And then, of course, the X factor is the serving. We've seen a couple bombs from the service line from Emily Day, and obviously April Ross is dangerous anytime she goes back, especially with the kind of increasingly swirly conditions it looks like we have down.
Yeah, serving's been huge this match, as we've talked about this whole time. It's really Emily Day and April Ross going back and cracking it back and forth, and Britt and Lauren going more with a little bit more placement. Brittany's going to start off with a jump serve, though. Good start from April Ross. Great shot. I thought it was a good drop by her, but better shot by April Ross.
The reality of only having 2 players on one side of the court is you can do everything right and still not succeed.
Exactly.
A lot of the time
That's
against
why
a
you
good
gotta
offensive player.
That's why you got to forget about those errors. Or not errors, but any point that doesn't go in your way. There's that great angle swing from Emily Day. Talk about that all the time. That's her bread and butter. She loves the angle.
Just about every level of volleyball, I think this is a truth. A lot of matches come down to the serve-receive battle.
Look at that, April on 2. What did we talk about earlier? Emily Day decided to stay down on her serve right there. She got to the net, made April make a play around her, making her presence felt at the net because she was able to get up there, and April made an error because of it. Good choice by her.
And on cue, it was a tough pass on a great serve.
April takes that one out of the middle. Oh, what a dig. Here we go, April's got another chance though. Another great dig. Here we go, a third shot. Oh my goodness, what a rally, and the crowd erupts.
I hate to belabor this point, and I know kind of in the midst of a rally, maybe you're not hyper aware of these things, but I feel like if you can, you got to get those free balls off of April Ross.
Right.
I mean, if you give her 2 and 3 chances to side out, it's virtually impossible to stop her that many times successively within the confines of one rally.
I agree. It looked like they were playing it safe a little bit on transition. They're not really taking chances, and April's kind of just staying neutral in the court and picking up everything they sent back over. But obviously that's easier said than done when you're scrapping like those ladies were on that rally. Oh, what a block by Lauren Fendrick, knowing that Emily loves her angle. It's going to be really important for Emily to stay neutral coming in, not decide, not dictate what she's going to do early, because Lauren Fendrick's going to be all over it. She knows these tendencies. They've played each other a lot, and it'll be interesting to see if Emily can keep her offense versatile as the game goes on here. Wow. Fortunate that pokey went down. It was a tight set, but the pokey went down and Emily made the play. Tough play to make there.
Britt back to serve. We're level at 3 here. This is a battle, as you would expect in the semifinals of a tournament.
Another transition play here. Who's gonna will this point in their favor?
Wow.
April Ross is. That's who.
Brittany's
Look at
gonna
that fire.
complain, perhaps rightfully so, that the dig was a little suspect from Lauren Fendrick. I thought it could have gone either way, because it did look like it had kind of that downward trajectory as she sort of opened up her hands in retreat.
I just think you can't give Lauren and April these many opportunities. They're having way too many opportunities in transition. Brittany and Emily could have the lead if they were to put their few opportunities away, but instead they don't, and they have April on the line. Nice set off a tough pass, but Lauren Fendrick's all over it. And there's another point not going in their favor. not able to side out. It looks like the pass set right now is what's kind of struggling for them. The setting from serve receive and from transition right now needs to be better from Hochevar and Day. So they take as Ross takes an early lead.
That said, that's a wonderful play by Lauren Fendrick and April Ross.
Right, they are also making it very difficult, but look at this. Again, they have transition swing. Brittany's able to make the spectacular dig, but not able to put it away again. Was that off her head?
That was back off the aforementioned visor, I think.
Ah, visor.
She's going to question again that contact from Lauren. You know, it's tough as the up ref. He's got to decide whether that hand is solid on the contact or if the fingers get a little soft. I thought it looked okay. It looked quick, but obviously in the heat of the moment, anything questionable, you like to go your way as a player.
Right, of course. I don't mind her talking to the ref about it, asking him to keep his eye on that, because it is coming out fairly slow, but I think it's best for the ref to just let him play on that ball. And I think Brittany and Emily are maybe a little tight on transition. They're not taking the chances, getting the balls to the sidelines and hitting the open court, making it a little too easy on Lauren and April on defense. Oh, what a serve. Here she is in transition again out of the middle. Oh, that's so clutch. Look at that fire. What a clutch block right there. That is so huge. If April was to get that overpass and then crush that ball in transition, it would have been a heartbreaker.
That's an enormous play, and let's see how it swings the momentum here for Emily and Brittany. Because like you said, I mean, 3 points in succession would have been a dagger. 7-3 lead is hard to overcome in the third set. 6-4, doable.
Here we go, off the net set, and they get it. That's how important that setting is right there. You could tell they lost their advantage right away when that set went off the net.
Especially we've seen Lauren be a little bit soft offensively. She's not hammering a lot of balls. She's trying to kind of chip and work her way around.
Yeah, it's not going to go down from off the net when you're not staying really aggressive. And right now, Lauren's really staying aggressive only when it's a good set, which is usually the case with April Ross. Again, a tentative poke. He's picked up by Hochevar, but April Ross is all over it on the other side, and she hammers it away. April imposing her will late in the match as a silver and bronze medalist would.
We're just seeing some enormous momentum swinging plays from both sides. That was a chance there for Brittany and Emily to level it at 6 after dodging a bullet and potentially being down 7-3. Here we are at 7-5, Ross Fendrick.
Brittany going with the push set here. There it is. That's that clean side out that I saw early on in the match. She needs to maintain that. It works so well when she's coming in well, but I mean, that was also a really perfect push set from Emily Day. So let's see if they can continue it.
One of the ways you try and neutralize a block as proficient as Lauren's is with some tempo and some spacing, right?
Right, you're really challenging the blocker to not only be good up over the net, but to be really good with your footwork, which is the exact skill that separates the good players from the great ones.
Unfortunate service error there from Hochevar Day.
Yeah, that's not a great error there, especially when you're putting April Ross back into the line next. There's that off the net set, but she still put it away. Ball almost went into the river.
It's a great swing there from M. Day. She gets soft on that. April scoops it up without a doubt and puts it away, I'm guessing.
Right.
So to swing high and hard on a tough set really saves her team right there.
She needed to stay aggressive there, even with that offset. I love that
Second half of this set, it's gonna come down to who can set the ball more consistently, right? And can, I think, Emily and Brittany keep the ball on Lauren consistently and capitalize on kind of running down some of her shots.
Here we go. April finally stopped on 2. Can they transition, though? They can't get a set out of it. That's got to be a little frustrating since they finally got that dig on April on 2.
Tough chance to come down as a blocker and turn and find and have to run and dive and try and lay something hittable up there for her partner.
It's so hard for Brittany to make a play out of the net when you're sprinting towards the net. The ball's an inch off the net, and you can't touch the net. So,
and you don't want to land on your partner's back.
Or plow right into the blocker. Brittany, pass a little off the net, sets off, so Lauren drops, but wow, look at that off-speed touch. I like her side-out game right now. She's feeling it again, and it's a good time to do that.
Brittany may be the best on tour at that particular shot. Kind of, it looks like she's going to hit, and then she just sort of kisses it right over the net short.
I personally love those touch finesse shots, something I pride myself in, and I love to watch it with a player like that. Oh, what a play from both sides. Another unbelievable dig by Brittany Hochevar, showing that athleticism and that touch. But April Ross on 2 continues to dominate on 2.
What a phenomenal play from both teams.
How about that dig down the line to start off from Brittany Hochevar? And then April Ross, look at this, one-hand scoop over, placing it down the line, and April's ready to dig that. I don't know how she was ready for that, but she was. And
the thing I love about that, aside from the brilliance of Brittany's dig, is the no give up from April.
Exactly.
And being ready for that ball to come back.
She obviously knows Brittany because she expected her to make that play. Oh, I love that set. But an even better block. Looks like, oh, I would have loved to see Emily Day get her feet there. I don't think she expected that perfect set from Brittany Hochevar. That thing was so nice. She couldn't quite get there, and Lauren did the veteran move there, just took the meat of the court, made Emily make a really tough play if she was going to get that point.
It's a heads-up play from Lauren in that there's no chance she was at the net expecting that perfect set. Once she saw the quality of that set from Brittany, she scurried back up there and put some hands in front of Emily.
Right.
He did. He was watching.
Em and Britt are going to call a timeout here after a little bit of discussion as to whether or not April foot faulted on that serve. Again, it's always a tough decision for the referees. Did they actually contact the line? Did they push sand on it? Did they push sand under it?
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I think they're not going to call it if it's a question, you know, because it's such quick things that are happening, and it could be the sand touching the line. So it's hard to tell, and I think you only call it if you see the foot clearly touching the line. But a lot of times the other team will see the line move maybe because the sand pushed it. So it's worth telling the ref to keep their eye on it, but you're really never going to get them to change a call, of course, in your favor.
Yeah, very rarely are you going to get the foot fault call at the end of the rally.
Yeah, exactly. You will never.
You will never get. Let's have a look at that, see if there was a legitimate complaint. Oh, she's clearly behind the line.
Close, but you could see the wind actually blowing the line. It was lifted off, and maybe that's that movement that they saw. When there's a divot under the line, it can kind of lift up and move in the wind there.
That's how good these players are, that when somebody of April's ability is serving at them, they can peripherally watch her feet as well.
And the movement of the line, yeah.
Go into the
when there's a divot under the line, it can kind of lift up and move in the wind there.
That's how good these players are, that when somebody of April's ability is serving at them, they can peripherally watch her feet as well.
And the movement of the line, yeah.
Go into the jump float and just puts it right on the line. Little change of pace, another nod to her mother. 12-8, kind of firmly in control of this third set.
Something that April Ross has done so many times is just step up in moments like these, and she continues her dominance in semifinals at these AVPs. There's a nice shot. That's such a nice high line. When you can hit a shot like that, so crisp and so quick, it's almost impossible to dig unless the defender completely committed to that shot before you even hit it.
You can see the ball mark. It's a foot inside the back line and about 2 feet inside the sideline. That's a perfect line shot.
It's exactly where we draw our targets in practice when we're working on shots. Oh, what a dig. Perfect hand dig by Emily Day. April tries to go on 2, but not successful this time. That is a huge point, and what a dig in transition, right? Oh my goodness.
We're seeing quite the display in both of these semifinal matches of pole digging.
Yeah.
All of the teams. One of the more difficult skills out there as you're retreating as somebody's bombing balls at you.
It says a lot about their confidence digging with their hands. Usually, you know, that ball's going to come high at you. It's hard to dig with your hands like Emily just did, but she pulled it off. Oh, that hurts a little bit, but the partner gives her 5 and tells her to keep that energy. I'm sure Brittany's all positive energy at this point. Just wanting them to stick with it.
Now is certainly not the time for any dissension.
Here we go, M. Day. In rhythm. Oh, here we go. Nice read by Brittany. They need to put this ball away. And they do. Again, Brittany stays in rhythm offensively. Now at the end of the match, on match point, we switch to side-out scoring. So it's really important to just keep within a few points. Even if you're not tied up at the end of the game, you're gonna have opportunities at the end as long as you're siding out to get those points on defense.
Especially with kind of a decided good side, bad side. If you can hang in there, you can maybe switch to the good side and get some from the service line.
Oh, Emily Day. What a clutch play. April, maybe a little foot cramp there.
It looked like maybe she got the kind of the sand toe. Just pulling on that big toe a little bit.
I think I just heard her say I dislocated my toe. Not sure if that's a self-diagnosis, but I'm going to assume that she's right, and that...
I'm going to go ahead and not watch as the medical staff.
I will watch. The medical staff is now grabbing the toe. This... here's another look at it. Maybe her toe got... Let's take a look, see what happened, if we can see how she landed here. Oh, yeah, you couldn't see it hit the sand, but her toe just definitely like went straight down. Oh. It looks all right, Rich. Doesn't look too bad. Oh gosh, does she have a little blood on there? Can't tell if can't tell what I saw, but
as much as I would love to be able to speak to the pedicure habits of April Ross, I'm not sure if that's blood or if that's just her
yeah,
polish of choice. Yeah, sometimes the good thing, if there is a good thing, a silver lining in dislocating joints is there's kind of this window where your body's almost in shock. You can still operate at a good level before it sort of blows up on you a little bit.
It'll send all the swelling to that area once your body figures out where your body is hurting. But
this would be a huge bummer if this is ultimately how this match ends, because it's been such a high-level battle.
Right. And
such a back-and-forth thing. And
they have the lead here. I would be shocked if April's not able to finish this match out, even if she's hobbling on one foot. I mean, their ability to go on 2 would still give them a great shot at taking this match. Oh yeah, just flick on it a little bit. How's that?
That's an advanced
feel,
medical technique. Not a lot of people know. It's the finger flick.
Now this stuff happens a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we're out here playing so many events. I personally played 19 events last year, and you know, a lot of times the medical staff's got to come on, and whether it's cramping or little things like this, you're playing on an uneven surface, so it's really tough on your body. As you can see, she has some tape on her knee already, but you know, I think she's definitely gonna want to play it safe. She needs the right person out there to make sure the toe is in place and okay for her to keep playing. But I mean, look at her right now. She's so tough, and feeling it, but It's so
As
tough.
Day
I
and
think,
Hochevar were kind of recapturing momentum, do you think this is a veteran move to get an extra long timeout?
That would be a very veteran move, a little soccer. That'd be a little soccer-esque kind of move to drop down. But no, I would not expect April to do that, and I don't think she needed a timeout like this. I think her confidence is always high.
We would consider this a legitimate medical timeout as opposed to some of the Pedro Solberg varieties, which are questionable at best.
Yeah, a lot of the Brazilians like to use their soccer background and use their, you know, if they tweak their ankle a little bit, they'll stay down on the ground a little longer. But the crowd giving some love to April Ross as she stands up. I think she just had to make sure that the toe was okay to put pressure back on before she stood up. Now she's just testing it out.
Now the question becomes, if I'm M. Day and Britt Hochevar, do I test her or do I stick with my game plan of going after Lauren?
Right. Well, even when you're going at Lauren, right, when April's going on 2 that much, you're basically serving both of them. They both have a chance to attack, but I mean, you would think that she wouldn't be aggressive on 2 right now with that toe feeling like that, but I don't know. It's April Ross.
Yeah.
Wouldn't put it past her.
When the competitive juices are flowing, you forget about things like big toe pain, although that does look pretty uncomfortable to see her kind of hobble around there.
Almost makes me think whether it's happened before right when the medical staff came over. I have a dislocated toe.
That was some pretty impressive self-diagnosis.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning a little hot. I was about 98.8. But like you said, I mean, these athletes train so hard, so kind of in tune with their bodies that, I don't know, they become capable of acknowledging stuff like that. I mean, obviously this is maybe an extreme example.
It really is mental, you know. I mean, you've seen so many elite athletes play through injuries and tough things, and it's whether you can wrap your mind around the fact that you're going to be okay. If you think that it's going to get worse and you're thinking of all the worst case scenarios, then you're going to get in your own head. It's going to hurt more. It's going to be in your mind. Your body's going to send more swelling there. But the more you experience that pain, you put yourself through those grueling workouts in the weight room, and you have these injuries and you play through them. When the medical staff clears you, of course, when it's smart to play through them, you just get used to it, and you're able to do amazing things as an athlete, playing through that pain. And obviously you got the adrenaline rush, and so that always helps when you're on the court, and then you leave later and you're not feeling quite as good. But I mean, that's what it's about. It's about pushing through times like this, and be interesting to see what decision April makes. I'm sure she's getting advice from the medical staff. You don't want an injury like this to last. You don't want it to go into the next tournament. That's the only reason that you wouldn't continue here, is because she can handle the pain that comes with this, trust me, but she doesn't want to let this hinder her performance in the next few tournaments. But look at her, she's coming out to play. The fans are stoked. Let's see what happens.
All right, Em and Britt, obviously a little extra pep in their step as they've closed the gap here.
You've got to come out on fire right now as this other team and take advantage.
We're noticing this, however, that April's going to go on the right side, Lauren on her more typical and maybe more comfortable left side.
Right. Easier to go on 2, probably for Lauren,
yeah.
right? Let's see if she makes that decision as they go at April. And look at that, up on 2. But Brittany's ready for it, as she should be. Oh, here we go. This is a huge opportunity. Emily Day with a huge block. Wow, that was a huge opportunity, exactly what Lauren and April wanted right there. But Emily coming through in the clutch. 13 all. April coming off a medical timeout for a toe that she believes was dislocated. We're not exactly sure what the diagnosis is, but being a warrior right now and hoping
this
to
point will
finish out
send us
this
to the
match.
freeze. Either way.
Yep.
Like you talked about, just being close once the score freezes is important.
Uh-oh. Looks like April's got her jump back.
Baller that she is. she came in hard and feasted cross court from right side.
Match point, and fittingly, it's her serve. Back on the line. Is she going to jump serve it right now? Best server in the world, coming off a medical timeout for her toe.
Last time over here, she put one right on M's sideline with the jump flow. Let's see if she can do that again.
Middle to Emily Day. Oh, off the net set. Oh, staying aggressive. Love this girl's aggression late in the set. That shows a lot of experience right there.
Yeah. The deal with the freeze is, however, that Britt and M now need 3 reels in order to win this match.
Meaning they have to be serving to score.
Correct. Thank you.
Lauren puts it away, giving her team another chance.
Just soft enough. I think I'm expecting something with a little more pace there.
Right. Maybe like a 70% swing, taking a little something off, catching Emily as she was moving back towards the back line. Good choice by her. Crowd's getting into it. Match point. Here we go. Not a good start, but a great set. That ball's out. April Ross and Lauren Fendrick coming up with the victory. Wow.
What a baller. Now with the added bonus along with the win, April has a little extra swagger in her walk as a result of the toe.
I think that says a lot about how her toe is feeling and how she's going to be able to play in the final. It probably scared her a little. She didn't want it to get worse, but now she knows she can play on it. She knows she can jump on it going into that final, and it's not going to be a problem. Lauren Fendrick giving it up for her partner, showing some love for her toughness,